Okay, turn your phone sideways and let's get cinematic and serious about this because I have a lot of feelings. I have not been on TikTok, really, for more than 5 minutes at a time for months now. But Studio Ghibli was mentioned. So I said I'm here. I'm present. I haven't really seen too many of the AI filter, whatever. I haven't really been like wanting to even put myself on it and be like, oh, let me see what it looks like as it looked, whatever. But a lot of people are talking about how it's really fucked up that you take some guys and a whole bunch of other people who are involved in the production of those movies, their life's work, and just like throw it into AI, plagiarize it, and do whatever the fuck you want and make it a little filter and a cute little thing. That's plagiarism. That's stealing somebody else's work. It's not cool. So I brought out my little book. Look at it. I love it. Okay. I bought this in 2022. I saw it at an Urban Outfitters. It was $55. But let's reverse whatever. But I knew I had to have her because I love all things Studio Ghibli. Ever since I was little. I mean, I saw Spirited Away when I was very little, and I never remembered the title. I never remembered the plot, but the image of when the little boy becomes a dragon and they're flying all around the ocean, and everything gets erratic and crazy, and they crash into the ocean, and I remembered the scene stayed in my mind until years later. I was like, I went with my friend to see it, and I was like, oh my God, this is the movie that's been ingrained in my mind since I was a child. Okay. So then I was like, oh my God, the guy that made it has made a lot more stuff. So then I proceeded to watch almost everything Studio Ghibli. When Marnie was there, Red Turtle, the obviously Spirited Away, Princess Mononoke, I'm Porco Rosso, like whatever it's called, like I Firefly Grave, whatever. I'm not great with titles, but I've seen damn near all of them, if not absolutely all of them. So yeah, they really hold a special place in my heart. And so I bought the book, and I would like to read an excerpt from the book. Look at how detailed and intentional and beautiful. Those are Hayao Miyazaki's drawings, by the way. Okay. Page 8. Hayao Miyazaki's Powers of Visual Memory. I'll just read the first paragraph. For over 40 years, I have known Hayao Miyazaki. To sum up his talents, he doesn't forget what he has seen. This is true for still objects, but also moving objects. When Miyasan comes across a building or landscape that he likes, he gazes at it for a while, taking it in. It may be for 5 minutes, or 10 minutes, or even several hours. Take Lady Eboshi's mansion and Princess Mononoke. I was astounded when I took a look at the building Miyasan had drawn. Some 2 or 3 years later, he and I had traveled to Otaru in Hokkaido to see what is called the Herring Mansion, built by a fishing magnate who had earned his fortune from the herring industry. That lavish building had been transformed into Lady Eboshi's mansion. When I pointed that out, Miyasan said to me, mischievously and full of delight, "This one's 3 times the height." Okay. I am not a through and through glazer of Hayao Miyazaki. I know he has created a toxic work environment. A lot of people have come out and talked about that. There's a really great YouTube video about that. Yes, but his works have had an impact on a lot of people, a lot of positive impact still. So we're just going to focus on that today. The amount of work and detail that not only Hayao, but all of the rest of the production team put into making these movies is astounding. Like in one of the, I don't know where I read it in the book, but it says it takes like 50,000 hours to make. Oh, it was the thread that I read, that I saw actually, that said it took 50,000 hours to create just like a 4-second like animation of a crowd while you just throw a picture into an AI prompt and 7 minutes later it spits some shit out. And it makes me want to talk about a lot of different things. To start off, I want to talk about our relationship when it comes to consuming art. I too love Studio Ghibli, right? Have I ever sat down and wondered what I would look like as a Studio Ghibli character? Yes, absolutely. Have I ever sat down and say I'm going to draw myself as one? No, because I can't draw like that, right? So it's completely fine. I don't need to do that if it means stealing someone else's work for a few minutes of my own enjoyment, you know? And I get it. A lot of people are attached to these roles and these characters, but I don't know if it's social media or what, but I don't know when we became so detached from other people's experiences. Like, yeah, it's kind of like metaphorical and like abstract to be like, yes, I'm not Shihiro, but I see myself in her experiences. So I don't need to physically see myself as a Studio Ghibli character. The whole point of the stories is that any of us could be those characters. We can see ourselves reflected in them. You don't physically need to see yourself as the character to feel the story, to be in, you know? Why isn't that enough? Why isn't that enough? A lot of, I don't know, some people have also said that like, oh, like I don't have the artistic ability to draw myself as a character, which is why I'm using the filter. Well, it's like, you could try. Have you ever tried? Like, it'll probably be really bad if you're not a drawer like that, but that's okay. That's okay. A lot of people that turn to using AI for art, there are like those people that just use it just to enhance some things. Like even that is like, oh, whatever. I won't get too into that. But I'm talking about the people that have like pretty much zero creative ability, and they just like put a prompt into AI, and AI plagiarizes from a bunch of artists and collects it and spits it out. You're not an artist. That is not making art. That is not creativity. To those people who want to be creative, I beg of you to try instead of turning to AI. If you want to write, putting a prompt into AI, into ChatGPT, a writer does not make you. You're you're not. You're not. If you're not like sitting there bleeding your heart out onto the keyboard, onto the pages, you're not a writer. I'm so sorry. But like you could try though. Have you tried? Like it might be bad, but that's okay. It's okay to want to make art and to try and to be bad at it. You know? It's to create just for the sake of creating it. It doesn't need to be good. It doesn't need to be viewed by thousands or millions of people. It just needs to be something that you do. I really do believe that everybody has some sort of creativity within them. And it comes out in so many different ways, but you have to do it yourself. You have to do it yourself. Okay, that's one of the things I wanted to say. What was the other thing? Damn, I knew I should have wrote this down because I said all of this out loud to myself in the bathroom this morning. Because I was spitting for real. I was spitting mad bars for real. Oh, oh, oh. That's the thing I want to talk about. It was I don't know. I guess it was instant gratification. I mean, but I guess that goes along with talking about why we need to see ourselves exactly as those characters. And a lot of people just have a very surface level appreciation for art. And I guess to me it goes back to the anti-intellectualism trend that's happening in the world today. There is not an expression that I hate more than the expression, it's not that deep. It's not that deep. And that's what a lot of people are saying about the situation, that like, oh, the AI filter, like it's not that deep. No, you're not that deep. You're not that deep. But because the situation is deep, actually, it matters a lot. You can't really truly appreciate like something like this and then just slap some AI shit together and say that you have a real understanding. Part of the beauty of this is the work that's put in it, the painstaking hours it takes to draw and to write and to imagine and to have seen all these places and to remember all of them, and the research you have to do and all of that goes into it. How can you say you appreciate that and then, go and do that? It doesn't compute. It doesn't compute. It is that deep. I think it's really cool. I think technology is really cool. But I hate that it's made us feel like and this goes for a whole bunch of other things, but I hate how it makes us feel like we can have access to everything, everywhere, all at once, whenever we want it, however we want it. Like, I really don't think that that's the way the world was meant to be, If anybody could just throw an AI filter on and do what Hayao Miyazaki did, then we wouldn't have a Hayao Miyazaki. We just have a whole bunch of random people doing whatever. But even then, like, you couldn't be this. You couldn't be this if you, like, I know I'm contradicting myself because I said earlier you should try, but I stand by that. You should try, but you won't be this. There are people that can get close, but the point is that it's his work, his mind, his creativity, his ideas that come together, to completely detach the art from its artist, from its context, from everything. It just strips it of the value. It cheapens it. And I know y'all love dupes. I also love a good dupe, but where do we draw the line? And this rampant use of AI for random shit that doesn't matter at all, is really egregious. It's really egregious. In the beginning, I was doing it too, of just like, oh, let me put a little prompt into ChatGPT and it'll like organize it all together for me, and it'll be so much fun. To the point where I downloaded the ChatGPT app on my phone. I would like type some prompts into it, like, oh, just like compile all these thoughts together for me, and I'll just save it for later reference. I would never go back to any of that stuff for reference. It was just the instant gratification of like, put all the information for me, give me bullet points so I don't have to really spend time reading it. And that was all fun and shits and giggles until I found out how much raw, non-renewable resources it takes to run the AI server centers. It takes a lot of electricity and a lot of water to cool those servers down, to like an egregious level. And to me, it ties back to the overall use of technology. How like Congolese children, women, and men, for example, are being exploited, how they're being made to partake in artisanal mining, which is really just like children digging with their hands to get cobalt for the little chips in our iPhone. It's sick. And a lot of people, I was talking to somebody about this a while ago, and they said, oh, well, but you have an iPhone though. And so do you. Does that mean that you stand for for child labor, child exploitation? No. But I do have an iPhone because that's what most people have. But even though technology is not something that you can just do without in 2025, it just isn't. You do have a choice in how you partake in using AI, in what products you buy, and how often you buy them. I have an iPhone 13 Pro, I'm pretty sure. I have no desire to get the iPhone 16. Matter of fact, I might stop buying from Apple. Not that like Samsung is that much better, but it might low-key be a little bit better than Apple in terms of, you know, the exploitation. I know there's a lot of that going on over there too, but if there's a chance that my decision can lessen somebody's suffering somewhere, I'm gonna try to make that decision. Everybody doesn't need to have their hands in everything, you know. Technology can and has and is being used for a lot of good, but I was very hopeful. I remember talking to a friend one time, and she was like, AI is coming for our jobs, and I was like, I mean, my thought process was I guess was very naive in that AI wasn't gonna come for any essential jobs, and the way that I thought about it was like fast food, for example, you know, like flipping burgers, like not AI, but like robots could do that, and that would free up the people that do that to do things that they find actually meaningful and fulfilling in their own lives. And that was extremely naive. First of all, there's no such thing as a non-essential job in this world. I mean, maybe we could talk about like consulting, like what the fuck is that? Like maybe that's a non-essential. There are definitely bullshit jobs, but like, you know, people that are on their hands and feet, like those kinds of jobs are very, very essential. So I don't mean that at all. But I was very naive in thinking that AI was going to take over certain things that were the hard labor jobs so that people could be, I don't know, free to live and be happy. Why is that such a silly thought? Why is it the world that we live in that's such a silly and unreasonable thought to have? You know, I really hope that people aren't lacking in empathy, and it really seems like a lot of people are, but there are also a lot of people who aren't. But I see all the stuff that's going on in Congo, in Palestine, in China, and a whole lot of other places. And I just hope that people are making decisions in their day-to-day that will hopefully in some way, somewhere, minimize the suffering that those people are experiencing. You know, sometimes it feels like there's just one me, but there's you and the decisions that you're making and the conversations you're having with the people around you. All of these things have snowball effects. You talk to them, they talk to their friends, they talk to their friends. We talk about it on social media. Like it's not for nothing. It's not for nothing. But I have had conversations with people. One time I was talking to this guy and I was like, I think we were talking about Congo again, last year, and his response to my talking about the suffering and exploitation of these people is that, like, well, there just have to be some losers in the world so that other people can win. I'm trying to think exactly how he phrased it. It's like pretty much like, for you to be where you are, somebody needs to be below you, but not just like below you, like in the trenches below you. And I was really confused by that, because me and you are sitting here in this retail store break room. We are not up. We are not up right now. We're like this close to the trenches, my guy. What do you mean somebody has to be below you? We are the below. We are the below. Hello? And like, the sooner we realize that we have way more in common with people that are being oppressed than we do with any type of billionaires or millionaires or politicians or whoever, or celebrities or whoever, maybe just the sooner we can at least just start having better conversations and start realizing that shit is actually deep. And I think that's where I want to end this. I feel good ending it here. Please pick up a book. Read a book sometime. Yeah. You can even start with this one. It's pretty. It's got a lot of pictures in it. There's some words, but there's pictures too. I know some of y'all don't like to read, but there's a little bit of both. Ooh, ooh, pictures, words. Ooh. Okay, bye.